All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Yahweh and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Time to this truth and rule well. All right. Shalom to the hope of the elect, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakadash, Barakatah. Brother Kazak coming back at it again with another live stream. All right, live camp week in, week out. Prophesying the downfall of Esau's kingdom and bidding the election into the marriage. All right. So, we're going to start off with the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1. And it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. All right, and that's what the prophet is doing, throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, under the elders and apostles, a great millstone. Brothers that teach the same doctrine. All right, that's what we're doing. We're standing upon our watch. All right, and what are we watching? Are we watching, on the carnal level? No, we're watching the prophecies, man. We're watching and looking out for the prophecies. Okay, because that's what's basically, not basically, that's what's literally manifesting itself. All right, right before our very eyes, we will see deliverance in our lifetime. Okay, America is about to be destroyed. All right, and with it, Esau's kingdom. So, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and continuing on, and it reads, yeah, this went too crazy, man. All right, backpack right here, so don't follow. I'm on to set it up. Slack, y'all. Can you give me a quick second? Yeah, just like that. All right. So I'm gonna reread this again. Get back in the spirit, man. I had to, fix the tripod. Too much wind. All right. But anyways, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower. All right, which that tower represents this truth, man. Okay, and it's not to brag. It's not coming in a proud spirit. All right, but us in this knowledge, we're in a higher frequency than the rest of these peons out here. All right, and the reason why is because we know what's getting ready to come to pass. We're dealing with the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, the Creator. Okay, and ultimately we're dealing with his prophecies and how all these things is manifesting. Everything that was written in this book is manifesting itself, and the fact that we have the eyes to see and the ears to hear and the hearts to understand, what's written in this book and what's being taught to us. All right, ultimately, man, it goes to show we're not like these normal people out here. Okay, we're not like these normal peons out here. Not your average two-third. I mean, not two-third. Not your average jakes, man. All right, continuing on in the reads, and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Okay. And Yahweh Hashem Yahushua answered and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. All right, and that's going into breaking down the dark sayings. Okay, and we can grab that in the book of Amos. Let me see, the book of Amos, chapter 3 and 7. Right there. All right, where it reads, surely Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. All right, and us being the mouthpiece of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the will and word of the elect. Okay, us being the mouthpiece, basically, it means that we go out there and teach and make this thing plain upon tables. Literally, that's what we're doing. All right, we're taking the dark sayings of the scriptures and making it plain so that the elect can hear it and they can be converted. All right, but the 2/3 are not going to be converted, man. They're going to perish and be destroyed. All right, that is a number that we do not hope to be in. Okay, continuing on, and it reads, all right, verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right, so the vision is yet for an appointed time because everything happens in its own appointed time. All right, ultimately our downfall happened in its own appointed time. We weren't fucking on slave ships during the time of Yahweh Shai. I mean, yeah, some of us were, but that transatlantic slave period, all right, even though it was written in Deuteronomy chapter 28, 68, just using that as an example, it didn't pass until, literally 500 years ago, that was set for an appointed time. And guess what? These prophecies, all right, dealing with Babylon's destruction is set at an appointed time. And guess what? We're close to that appointed time, all right? It's literally manifesting itself. These prophecies are literally being fulfilled right before our eyes. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, all right. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So basically, once the ball gets rolling, it's not going to stop, man. All right. You got a lot of people that want to put an end to the downhill spiral, that the world is going into, right? You got a lot of people making an effort to stop the inevitable, okay, dealing with Babylon's fall. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? It's not going to stop. There's no way to stop the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right? Continuing on, I'm going to go and segue into, what's it called? As a matter of fact, I'm going to get the book of Ecclesiastes because that's going to literally go into what we're speaking of through the Spirit. All right? So the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. And it reads, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Okay? And that's what we're experiencing the end of. We're experiencing the end of a season. That's why the camp name is the end of an age. All right? Because it doesn't mean it's the end of the world and then the whole world's going to be destroyed and then, that's it. No, man. It's the end of Esau's kingdom, man. All right? And guess what? They show you this in the movies, man. They show you this in Terminator and just, Independence Day. The movie 2012. Where they depict the end of times as this bad thing that where no life is going to exist after the end of the times, right? But that's really far from the truth, man. Because really, what's taking place and manifesting itself is the salvation of Israel and the destruction of the wicked. Okay, it's literally 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 9, which we might, touch into that through the Spirit, man. But that's what's taking place. That's why the scriptures say, "Be ye not troubled, man." All right, don't be troubled that the economy is about to collapse. Yeah, it may feel, uncomfortable. You might get a little anxious, at the thought of it. Like, what are we gonna do? But when you go to the scriptures and it shows you how, we're gonna be sustained in that day. All right, guess what, man? There's no how do I put it to you? There's no reason to be, troubled. All right. Continuing on, and it reads, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. All right, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. And we've been broken down as a people, man. All right, we were broken down for our transgressions. That's why we went over here in the land of our captivity. We literally to this day, yet this day in our captivity, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be under these heathens, under this devil primarily. And that's us being broken down. We are being broken down. And even then, if you compare it to the walk in this truth, certain afflictions that you go through, adversities, you catch hell, that's to break you down. And then when you're in that state, you self-reflect and then you build yourself up. You become a better man. It's kind of like a muscle. It tears, and then you work it out to make it to break the muscles and then the muscle fibers, and then you recover, and the muscles come back stronger, man. All right, it makes you stronger. And guess what? We're gonna be beyond stronger, man. We're in the kingdom. We're gonna be completely unstoppable. Continuing on, and it reads, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather the stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. All right, and ultimately, man, go on and on. You know what I'm saying? But basically, it talks about how everything there is a season. You know, and right now, we're nearing the end of Esau's season. All right, maybe that should have been the title. But hey, man, the end of the age is basically the same thing. Because we are in Esau's rulership right now. We're under Esau's rulership. All right, that's why the scriptures call him the devil, man. It's like no, that's why the scriptures call him Lucifer. All right, Salakia. All right, slip of the tongue, man. But hey, continuing on, verse 14. Sorry, not verse 14. Which that leads us to the next chapter. All right, the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. And I'm gonna start from the top. All right, and read on down. And it reads, "For Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall flee unto the house of Jacob." All right, and that's the time that's gonna come in. All right, that's the time that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is ushering in. See, you have these elites on the left hand side, which really they're not outside of the control of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You have them on the left hand side. They want to usher in their little new world order. Where they're gonna how do I put this in terms I won't get taken out? Where they're gonna usher in the CHIP, which is the Karagma, and then guess what, man? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to turn everybody into their slaves, literally. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like the divide between the classes is gonna be on it's literally gonna be made manifest. How they're doing away, and you can see that now. They're doing away with the middle class. All right, so there is no a bridge to go from low class to what's it called to upper class. To the wealthy class. And that's to keep the people in a perpetual state of slavery. It's a spirit, because even Carr had to chime in on that. That's what these devils is trying to do. But guess what? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to usher in the true world order. All right, where it's going to be Jacob, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, starting with the elect, that's going to rule. Okay, that's going to be what really takes place. That's why everything is happening the way it's happening. That's why you got the economy that's about to collapse. All right, it's literally in shambles. Okay, and then you got these agendas. It's a better word to put them in. But you got the different agendas, set in place, like the C-19, things like that. That literally, the protocols that Esau's taking, fight these certain agendas, which he makes them anyways. It literally destroys the economy, because ultimately what he's doing is he's creating these things to destroy the economy. All right, and that's how these devils is going to want to try and raise up their new how do I put it to you? Their new system that they're coming in with. Okay, is through doing away with the old, literally destroying the old, and coming back. They have a parable for that. A metaphor for that. Is coming back as the phoenix rising from the ashes. So continuing on, and it reads. All right, verse 2, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land for servants and handmaids. And they shall take captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors." All right, and that's what's basically happening. Okay, so that's basically what's going to come to pass. All right, we're gonna take these people, these heathens, and we're gonna put them in slavery, man. Okay, and we're gonna put them in slavery, dead ass. All right, because these heathens were confederate against us. All right, we're gonna get that in the book of Psalms, chapter 83. All right, so we're gonna get Psalms chapter 83, verse 1, and it reads, "Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh." All right, now this is, basically pleading Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to act upon our enemies. All right, as we're getting ready to read about. Verse 2, and it reads, "For lo, thine enemies," and who is that talking about? These are the nations. First and foremost, so-called white man, Esau, Edom. All All right, it reads, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. All right, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. And that's what they have done. You know, in the ancient times, you best believe these different heathen kings, you know, got together, all right, and they took crafty counsel on how they were going to take us down. You know, and even till this day, you got the Bilderberg meetings. You know, you got several. You know, you got summit meetings, G20s. You know, certain meetings where you know the rich and wealthy and basically the top upper echelon class of these different nations, they get together and they you know, basically have a council. You know, they have meetings and things of that nature. What do you think they're talking about, man? Would you think they're just talking about their corporations? You know, you really think they're just talking about the corporations? They're talking about the corporations, but ultimately they're talking about how they're going to destroy us through their corporations, all right, through their different programs that they have set up. Hey, like social media, man. You see the toll and the effect that social media is having upon the populace, and that was ultimately that was, you know, set by design, okay, to get people more dumbed down and to ultimately lower people's frequencies, man. All right, now you got everybody glued to their fucking phones, you know, literally sheep, man. Sheep for the slaughter, you know, as they say. All right, so continuing on. All right, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay, so they do certain things, all right, they do certain things where they play psychological operations on our people. All right, and it's all ultimately to keep us from knowing who we are as a nation, who we are as a people. Okay, continuing on in the reads, they have said, come and let us cut them off. It's like, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And to a certain extent, they did achieve that. All right, the average Jake is walking around, he don't know who the fuck he is. All right, you could ask the average so-called Negro, what nationality are you gonna get 10 different answers? All right, you ask 10 dudes, you know, 10 Jakes what their nationality is, you're gonna get 10 different answers. Right? And then the Latin tribes is not far off either, man. You know, continuing on in the reads. All right, verse 5. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Okay, and they are confederate. There is a confederacy that was formed amongst these heathens. All right, and that confederacy was to take us down, and they have done that. Okay, yeah, we are in our little predicament. We are in hell. You know, basically slavery here in Babylon. All right, but now something is taking place. Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know, working in the thoughts of these heathens. Now, I speak as a man, you know, but in my opinion, you know, I think that that they got them fighting over that top one position. All right, they fighting now. Now they fighting over that top one position because they took us down. They think they got us in a perpetual state of slavery, you know, and whatever thing that they have, you know, in the works. You know, they think that we're never gonna rise up again. All right, but guess what? We are gonna rise up again, and they're gonna be divided while we rise up. Okay, that's why it reads in the book of Obadiah. Because ultimately, right now, it's Esau that's in rulership. All right, Esau's in rulership right now. He's on top of these nations. That's why these nations, you know, take after his ways. Okay, that's why they adopt that Western philosophy. All right, that westernized way of living. All right, but now these heathens, they don't want to be under this devil no more. They want to take his place. All right, and what brings that out is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7. And it reads, or matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 6. And it reads, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All right, and ultimately that's this devil being exposed. Okay, all this stuff being exposed, and this applies to them in the heathen, because guess what? They're finding out that this devil is over here fucking destabilizing their countries and stuff. If you don't agree with what they're trying to do, they're gonna send agents and destabilize your country. All right, which we're gonna read about that in Isaiah chapter 14. You know, it makes a mention of that. You know how they rule the nations in anger, they rule the nations in wrath. You know, a nation don't wanna get down to his bro. See, this is the thing. This devil thinks this devil thinks he's like the king of the world. You know, which he is. You know what I'm saying? But hey, these heathens are not listening to this devil, man. They don't want to listen to this devil. You know, that's why you have to go to such lengths in order to get them under his control. That's why you got to go destabilize countries and do all this stuff, because Esau got no authority, man. Okay, you look at the top echelons of this devil. All right, they don't have no crowns. They're literally hidden. You know, they do things in secrecy. They don't establish their dominion. You know, they don't how do I put it? They don't express their dominion. They don't walk in authority. They walk in secrecy. They're because they're literally fugitives. Okay, they're literally fugitives. They know that they're the wicked. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they must have enemies up there. You know, he definitely got enemies up there, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, this devil knows that he's about to be destroyed. You know, but these heathens, they ain't listening to this devil. All right, they it was just a means to an end to put us down. All right, and then once we're down, now here we are yet today in our captivity. Right now you got the Moabites that want to take over. Now you got the so-called Iranians that want to take over, which is the modern day, sorry, the ancient time. They're the modern day Persians. You got that nation; they want to take over. Okay, you got who else? The EU. Was that's in-house Esau fighting. Russia. In-house Esau fighting, but it goes to show you that their houses are divided. Okay, and ultimately, as this leads, they probably bringing forth this thing. See how about Shimon Hamashad manipulating them to manipulate the kings and whatnot. The different rulers, to come against each other and clash. For the depopulation agenda, which you're going to use World War III as part of that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, ultimately, what they're bringing about is going to be their demise. All right. And at the end of the day, everybody wants that top. Everybody wants that number one class. They want that number one position. All right. So I my stammering lips. So verse 7, it reads, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee." Okay. And how did they prevail? All right, by building up their military, building up their economies. All right, putting themselves in a position where they're not affected by this devil, man. And we're gonna read about that. All right, because primarily the one that's in that position is the Russians. All right, which the scripture and the prophecies refer to them parabolically as the Medes. You know what I'm saying? Which that goes back to the Medo-Persian Empire. But in modern times, and concerning prophecy, the Medes is referring to the Russians. Okay, and what does it say? That they're not going to regard their their gold and silver, because they put themselves in a strategic position to where nothing that this devil does can face them. All right, because Esau's all about creating a dependence towards him. All right, that's why he's coming out with the CHIP, to keep the whole world dependent towards him and his system. He wants that full control. Okay, and he knows he's not actually. I'm gonna say it like this. He wants that full control. All right, that he so much desires, because he knows he doesn't have it. You got these other nations bucking up against this devil, man. He don't got no control. All right, you don't got no control. You got the Moabites. They want top. Now the Moabites about to take over Taiwan. The Russian EU, NATO, they about to literally go blow to blow, man. Literally, that's going to culminate to the ICBM thermonuclear destruction. It's gonna be hell on earth, man. All right, but that hell on earth is ultimately to liberate us. Okay, to usher in New Jerusalem, which is the kingdom of heaven. All right, where peace is going to be brought upon the world, man. All right, so like my garment going all over the place, man. Continuing on, and it reads. All right, it reads, "The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in it." All right, they that eat thy bread, man. Meaning those that follow after your way of life. Those that made have implemented that westernized way of living. All right, unto their own kingdoms. Okay, they have laid a wound under Esau, because ultimately they want that place. They want to be the next ones to rule and be the next light bearers, be the next Lucifer, be the next nation that's on top, and influence the rest of the nations on what is good and what is not good. and stuff like that. But what they don't know is that, we can just grab that. Esau's kingdom is gonna be destroyed, man. So like what they don't know is that after Esau's kingdom is destroyed, all right, we're gonna be the next ones to rule. Okay, you're just gonna get the key point. All right, the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6 and 9, and it reads, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." All right, so these are the nations that covet that position. They have ultimately made a vain imagination, which you can grab that in the book of Psalms, chapter 2. All right. So the book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" All right, so it says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" Now, the crazy thing is, when you go into the Hebrew, all right, and you look up the word rage, it goes into having a secret counsel, to scheming and plotting. Why do the heathen have counsels? Why do they scheme and the people imagine a vain thing? Because that vain thing that they're trying to imagine is them having preeminence over the children of Israel. All right, whatever heathen, each heathen nation, they want to be the top one. All right, they want to be on top. Okay, that's why you got them so working so hard to conquer things and do things in this modern time. There's a reason why the so-called Chinese want Taiwan, because Taiwan is the number one CHIP manufacturer in the world. All right, and that CHIP technology is going to be essential in these devils' new kingdom, man. And it's like not new kingdom. I don't want to give them more credit than this dude, but their new system, their new enterprise that they're not going to live out. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel against Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us." All right, and ultimately, you know what I'm saying. That's what they, did. They don't answer to us anymore, right? It was in the time of King David. We were on top, man. We were jacking these heathens' ass. Okay, even after we left Egypt, you had heathens that basically took a witness protection program. The harlot Rahab, she took a witness protection program basically, because she heard of what Yahweh Hashem Yahushai did to the Egyptians, man. She heard about the power that the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai displayed in the land of Egypt with the plagues and all the destruction, all the death of the firstborn sons. All right, you don't think the world was talking about that? Of course they were talking about that. Okay, and you best believe they're talking about that in fear. Like, yo, who's the power of Israel that did this to Egypt? And Egypt is one of the most powerful, kingdoms right now. Why? Who is this power? What is this power? And so you best believe Rahab heard that. She saw them, and she like, look, man, as long as you protect me and my family, it's good. And guess what? That fear is gonna be upon all the heathen, man. Because even then you had heathens that were proud, going off, which they can't go off. The Yahweh Hashem is not dealing with them, but they just do wickedness, man. Whatever idol that they worship, all right, that's not real. Okay, they do abominable acts, all right, sodomy, child sacrifices, things of that nature. You name it. But guess what? In our dominion, okay, none of those things is going to be happening. The heathens is going to be worshiping Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and they'll be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, and if they don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, they're going to be put to death. Okay, simple as that. They're going to be judged according to the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, because guess what? They're not going to be in the new bodies. All right, that's for only for the nation of Israel. Okay, but hey, just because they're not in the new bodies don't mean that they're going to be free to worship whatever idolatry, whatever madness that they worship. No, man, they're gonna be in line. All right, that's why it says that they shall cleave unto me. Meaning they're gonna do what we tell them to do. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, verse 4: He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall have them in derision. Then he will speak unto them in his wrath and vex them with the sore displeasure. Yet I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, and I will declare the decree. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said unto me. Right? I will declare the decree that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai hath said unto me. Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. All right, so these heathens we're gonna possess these heathens, man. All right, they're not going to, you know what I'm saying, go and be free to worship whatever madness that they're worshiping. They're gonna be ruled under us with a rod of iron, meaning we're gonna beat the laws, statutes, commandments into them. We're gonna beat Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai into the teeth, and they're going to keep it, man. All right, and who knows, they might love it. Okay, because the laws and commandments, they're not grievous. All right, being under Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, that ain't grievous. Okay, it's literally the right way to live. All right, but because our people chose, you know what I'm saying, instead of being the monument of righteousness, which Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, and they chose to follow after the ways of these heathens. All right, and as yet this day, we witness and we see how they following after the ways of this devil and doing all his iniquity, all his wickedness. All right, guess what? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai got to bring the pain. All right, and this go around in this time of Jacob's struggle and this, great tribulation that the whole world is going to be in. Guess what? You're going to have the wicked of our people that's going to be destroyed on that. All right, they're going to catch the plagues. Okay, they're going to catch the plagues, man. All right, that's what he's going to bring right here. Just get straight to the point. Okay, now we're going to go back into the main topic. Spirits like the wind, man. All right, so book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 5, and it reads, Behold, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said, so like it said, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. All right, so the wicked of our people is going to be caught up in them plagues, man. What these plagues are is literally the destruction of Esau's kingdom. It's Yahweh Hashem Yahushai stretching forth his hand against these devils, man. All right, and he's answering our prayers when he does this. Okay, he's answering our prayers. He's bringing upon hell upon these devils. He's tearing these devils down. He's literally moving mountains to deliver us, his nation. All right. So going back to Isaiah chapter 14. Oops. This wind, man. All right. There it is. All right. So Isaiah chapter 14, verse 3. Okay, and it reads, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. All right, and that's ultimately, you see, and that's how everything ties back in together. As the scripture says, all things working together for good to them that love him. And who's that him talking about? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We love Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's why we out here week in, week out, making our bodies a living sacrifice, we're feeding the sheep. All right, because we want to be saved and we want to be under a righteous rulership, man. We want to be under a righteous kingdom. Okay, and of course, with the trinkets and the benefits of that, you're gonna be on top. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be, you're gonna have spiritual power, right? The many wives and stuff. But it's deeper than just that, man. Because it's kind of like the things of the flesh, if you will. You kind of covered that with your flesh. Spiritually, you want to be under a righteous kingdom, man. You want to be living in righteousness. According to the book of 2 Peter chapter 3. All right, we desire a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. We don't want to be in a land. We don't want to be living in a land where you have a kid and now you like, damn, man, I can't have a kid no more. All right, it's like I'm gonna say, like, you can't live in a land where you have a kid and now you worry All right, or it's in your mind that if you take them to school, they're gonna have them around abominations, walking abominations. Brothers know what I'm talking about, dealing with the drag stars and the transformers, man. All right, that's what I'm talking about. They will go in there, confuse your kid. You know, they gonna play some psychological bullshit on your kid and have them come back saying, "Oh, I think I'm a woman now." Like, no, man. You know what I'm saying? Your son will come back saying he a woman, and your daughter gonna come saying she identifies as a man. You know, and then the crazy thing is they'll literally, you know, in here in California, they made it so that if a kid decides to be a woman, or if a little boy or little girl decides to change their plumbing, you know, literally go through that surgery, that they'll do it for free. You know, tell me this is the place of wickedness, man. They'll literally do that for free. They'll do that for free. All right, so shit, man. And guess what? You got no say so. You got no say so about it. It's completely. This is the kingdom that we're living in, man. All right. Continuing on, and it reads, Salakia, verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. Okay, and who's that talking about? Esau, Edom. All right, because who's he? The king of Babylon. And Babylon in this term, all right, is not talking about the ancient Babylon that was destroyed, you know, by the if I'm not mistaken, the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay, that's an indicator that's not the Babylon he's talking about. All right, because we're gonna read into this chapter, you know, it's gonna say that Babylon was overthrown as Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? According to that, like Babylon was never overthrown like that, man. All right, Babylon was never destroyed like that in the ancient times. So it's talking about another Babylon. It's a parable. It's, you know, the Bible is speaking in code. All right, because ultimately it's only meant for the prophets, you know, basically the elect, to receive this truth. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, all right, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. All right, so the king of America, basically. All right, and who's the king of America? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That's who he is, man. All right, and we're taking up a proverb against him. We're taking up that he is the wicked. All right, that he's going to be destroyed. His kingdom is about to be destroyed. He's going to go into slavery. He's going to serve us for 1,000 years, and then he's going to be done away with. All right, and it reads and say, how hath how hath the oppressor ceased, and the golden city ceased? Okay, so it says, how hath the oppressor ceased? All right, because this devil's an oppressor, man. Hey, man, let's go all day naming down the ways that this devil oppresses us, man. Many ways that this devil oppresses us, man. And in some parts, you know, he does give out little programs and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's oppression because it's a system created to where it's designed for us to never prosper. Okay, and those that do prosper, all right, ultimately, you know what I'm saying? They prosper. It's only a select few. You know, they go and they not Jake for, you know, Jake. You know, you can think of a way to make money and you'll go and make money, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, for the most part, this place is set for us to fail. That's why you have glass ceilings. You know, you apply, you work at a corporation or something, man. You're gonna experience the glass ceiling where they're gonna keep you in that same little position, all right. And meanwhile, everybody else gets to go up, man. You know, you be working at a job 20 years, you're in the same little position, all right. But little Brian that, you know, just came out of whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever college, straight out of college, in a few months he passes you. You know, and you went to college too. You know, this place is nothing but oppression. You know what I'm saying? You got the whole thing with the dynamics between, you know, the man and the woman. You completely fucked that off. All right. You got these women thinking they too proud, they too good for men. And you got a whole bunch of fucking sexually frustrated men out here that's gonna get busy on them in Jacob's trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going to fall back because there's no understanding in him. Everything that he comes out with falls apart, man. All right, you got the situation with marriages, man. You know what I'm saying? So much oppression with that because a woman could at any time divorce you and take half of your shit. You know, it's completely out of order the way this kingdom is, man. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, and it reads, how hath the oppressor ceased, and the golden city ceased? All right, and this is called the golden city because it's basically the number one. It was built off the backs of the so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, that's how this place was able to get its power. You know, like for example, you have these devils these days, these Edomites, especially in the South, it's more common in the East Coast. They have a term called old money, all right, and that old money refers to the money that they made, off of slavery, because they was literally making and doing stuff for free, slave labor. They didn't have to pay Jake a cent, nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Just had them work in the fields, and that's just generating their income, and their income, piled up, and then they leave their inheritance to their children. That's why the scripture says, "Prepare slaughter for his children," man. All right, because they may have not, which actually, no, I'm not gonna say, they may say that they didn't do it because it happened, hundreds of years ago. All right, but they're still benefiting off of it. You still got Edomites that got that old money, man. And with those, they built their, whatever little companies they have. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing new under the sun, man. They're still benefiting off this system that was put in place, by their forefathers, who they were in the past time. You know what I'm saying? They're dealing with the reincarnation. So hey, the wicked shall not be acquitted, man. All right. So back to Isaiah chapter 14. All right, verse 5. And it reads, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. All right, he's broken the staff of the wicked, meaning this devil doesn't have the sway that he used to have anymore, man. All right, and that started going downhill. You could say, when in the time of 9/11, that happened with the Twin Towers, right? And then you had all these people that came up and they were bucking up against Esau's narrative as far as the Twin Towers. You had a whole bunch of people bucking up against him, and that's a monument. That's a manifestation. That is a staff is destroyed. That authority that he had over the nation, over the people, all right, is destroyed. All right, people don't want to be under this devil no more. And that's what we're witnessing with these other nations too. All right, those that were of that confederacy that we read about in the book of Psalms chapter 83. All right, continuing on, and it reads. All right, so just find my spot, and it says, "And the scepter of the rulers." All right, and you see that worldwide, man. You know what I'm saying? You see that worldwide. So much sedition in throughout the world. You just had that, that country, Sri Lanka. They just overthrow their president. You have Italy. They say that their government is about to collapse over there, man. Literally the whole world is going to plunge into chaos, man. All right, and when this place plunges into chaos, all right, that's when the rest of the world, where they kind of had a foothold. All right, that's when they're going to plunge into chaos because they depend on this kingdom for their profits, man. All right, that's why it says that the merchants is going to weep afar off. Roughly paraphrasing, book of Revelation chapter 18. All right, that's why it says that the merchants shall weep afar off, because they depend on this war, so that they could make their money. All right. So continuing on in the reads. All right, verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, and he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. All right, so he that ruled the nations in anger. Okay, and that's what this devil did. That's what I was talking about, earlier through the spirit, man. These nations, they don't want to fucking they don't want to be under this devil. They know what this devil does, man. All right, how it's written, how we read in the book of Obadiah. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Because this nation's already found out how this devil gets down, man. If you don't agree with him, you're gonna send agent provocateurs, CIA agents, whatever they have, right? And they gonna basically start up rebellions in your country, destabilize your country. They're gonna sabotage, your country, and they go deep with it too. You're gonna have people, going into a country, hack into your economy, hack into certain infrastructures. You know what I'm saying? So distribution don't go around. And while he's doing that, he's raising up militias and to come against them. That's how this devil does it, man. You see what happened with you see an example of that. It happened in Libya, with that dude Muammar Gaddafi. All right, it's like a video out there. I don't know if it's still up. This devil probably took it down, but it basically shows a list of what that dude did to improve his country and make his country a better place for his people. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of things that he did, and I guess he was like a righteous ruler, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't give him that, you know, but ultimately he didn't, you know, want to set up a central bank in his country, you know, under these Rothschilds. He didn't want to be under the Rothschilds, if I'm not mistaken. And what happened is Esau came in, you know, you saw what played out in Libya, man. You know, you saw what happened to his ass. And that's an example of how these devils rule the nations in wrath. That's why you got proxy wars and things of that nature. You think these heathens want to be under that, man? Hell no. All right? So that's why they rebelling against him. You know, with the so-called Chinese, the so-called Iranians. All right, you know, you got Esau's brother, you know, up there in Russia. You know, they rebelling against him. All right, continuing on, and it reads, all right, he that ruleth the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. All right, meaning that when this devil gets taken down, all right, because this talking, you know, this is in future sense. When this devil is taken down, ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna stop him from being persecuted, man. He's gonna be in the pits, and all these nations gonna be looking down on him. They're gonna be persecuted. All right, and that's not to, you know, to say we're not gonna be persecuting him. We're definitely gonna be putting it on these devils, man. Verse 7, and it reads, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet, and they break forth into singing. Yet the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. All right, now that's talking about, you know what I'm saying? So these are the little, you know, precepts and these are little scriptures that the Christians will come and use and try to say that, you know, this is talking about, you know, hell, you know, because it's coming from beneath. No, man, hell is a low state. All right, hell is a low state. It represents the grave. All right, it represents being in slavery, being the bottom class of any kingdom. That's what hell is, because you don't want to be at the bottom class of any kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Here we are in Babylon. Look what we have to go through in you know, in the curses and things like that. You know, because ultimately these curses, all right, they're gonna go on the heathen. Okay, and that's what the scripture says. All right, continuing on, and it reads, let me see. At thy coming, it stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. He hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Right? Because this devil, you know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, you know, he ruled the nations in anger. He's on a constant fight for that preeminence. You know, that's why, for example, you have, you know, the history with Babylon, history with America. You know, you look at how many times this place has been into war. It's a constant fight. It's a constant. You know, this place has been, ever since this place was founded, it's been in a state of constant war. All right, there isn't a time when this place is not going to war with somebody, man. Okay, and that's them trying to establish that preeminence and keep everybody, you know, down. You know, but guess what? As it says, "Art thou become as weak as we?" Right? Because in the kingdom, they're gonna be at the bottom predicament, man. All right, they all gonna be in the pits. Okay. Continuing on in the pits, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. All right. So thy pomp, you know, basically your pride is brought down to the grave. All right, because this devil's the most proud, man. You know, yeah, you see that preeminence that he's trying. That's a state of pride, man. This devil is the basis of all men. All right, this devil is the base of all men. He below all the heathen. That somehow he think he better than everybody, man. Shit, forget us. He think he better than everybody else, man. Shit, you know. All right, so continue on and it reads, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? All right, and that's that term. You know, there's a lot of confusion behind that term, Lucifer. You know, they want to say that Lucifer is the name of spiritual, is the real name of spiritual demon Satan, and he was some music player in the heavens, and then he had a rebellion against the Lord. No, man, it's not what that's talking about. Lucifer literally means light bearer. All right, that's what Lucifer means. right, to a light bearer. Right now, Esau is Lucifer because he has the whole world following after his ways. Even though they trying to rebel up underneath him, and undermine his authority. All right, he's in that position right now, but it's a weakened position, as you could tell, man. With everything going on in the world, and that's Yahweh Shem Yahushai weakening these devils, man. That's Yahweh Shem Yahushai, ushering, because ultimately he's ushering in this the true world order, which is New Jerusalem coming down. All right, it's coming back, verse 12, and it reads, or sorry, not verse 12, verse 13, and it reads, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High." Okay, and that's what they did. All right, they have said in their heart that they're gonna rise up into the heavens. That's basically what they're doing with all these space programs. That's basically what they're doing with all these space programs. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're doing with the how do I put it to you? Even in the movies they show you that. They show you that in the movies. You got the Star Wars. Movies that deal with intergalactic empires and things like that. They show you that they're going to, that their kingdom will last forever. All right, and they're going to basically transcend to a whole nother level of rulership. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're trying to accomplish with the new system that they're trying to come into place. But guess what? They're not going to perform their enterprise. Okay, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to disappoint that enterprise. All right, he's going to give them a taste of glory. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he's going to take it away from them, and that's how cold Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to do them. All right. So continuing on, and it reads. All right, verse 13. I'm going to read it again. "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High." And ultimately, that's what he thinks inwardly. That he's going to surpass the Most High. He's going to surpass the chariot technology. All right. "And I will sit also upon the mount of the congregations in the sides of the north." Verse 14. "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." All right. And that's what this devil thinks. All right. That's what this devil thinks, man. That's why he manipulates the anatomy of I don't even want to get too, I don't sound too deep into it, but that's why he manipulates certain roles. That's why he makes everything out of order. I'll give you an example. Supposedly, the woman is supposed to be underneath the man, right? She's supposed to be under the man, but Esau going to say, "Nah, you're equal unto the man. You're equal unto the man." You know what I'm saying? You can do everything the man can do. You know what I'm saying? And that gave these women, now these women is out here running out of order. You know what I'm saying? They being harlots and all manner of things. You know, you got the whole alphabet community. The Transformers. A man is born a man. He starts to tell you, come and say, "Hey, nah, man, you can be a woman. If you say you're a woman, you can be a woman." That's what this devil does, man. And that's his mentality. That he wants to be as the Most High. That's why it reads in the book of let me see, it's in Thessalonians. I think it's First Thessalonians. Not Second Thessalonians. All right. That's why it says in the book of Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3, and it reads, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first." Which that's talking about how we fell away from being from knowing our nationality. That's why we here now. Jake don't know. The average Jake don't know who he is, man. He's too busy calling himself a color, a language, black, Latino. You know what I'm saying? They're too busy trying to claim back the land. Dealing with the so-called Native Americans. He's too busy trying to claim back the land that's about to be destroyed with ICBM thermonuclear missiles. You know what I'm saying? It's just Jake is just completely lost, man. Destroyed for a lack of knowledge. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, "And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." All right, they're talking about this. All right. Verse 4, "Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, and that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh, as he as the Most High He sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is, a God. And that's ultimately what Esau, that's his main, thing that he wants to covet. Is that have that, ultimate power. That's why he's implementing the CHIP. Because he wants to have absolute power over the people. All right. See, because there's a thing, like they have money. All right, and truth is, you'll get bored of having money real quick. You have the best of everything every single day. You don't want that no more. So what else do you want? You want power. Okay, you want power, and that's what these devils ultimately desire, is to have that power and dominion, such as that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai has. All right, pardon my stammering lips. Okay, so continuing on with verse, it's like with Isaiah chapter 14. Going into verse 15. All right, it reads, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell and to the sides of the pit." Okay, and that's what's gonna happen. This devil's gonna be in the pits, man. All right, in the kingdom of heaven, this devil's gonna be thrown down into the pits. Right? He's not gonna be over here, trying to, raise himself up, trying to, build up new kingdoms. That's just gonna be thrown down. Hey, you might have Edomites that's gonna want to rebel, but guess what? They're gonna be taken down swiftly, man. It's gonna be swift judgment upon those. Okay. Continuing on, and it reads, all right, "And they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners?" All right, that opened not the house of his prisoners, man. All right, because that's ultimately how that's how low Esau's gonna be in the kingdom, where the other nations, even the other heathen, is gonna narrowly look upon him. See, he's gonna be back to his natural state. All right, it's through the spirit of probably Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai that he was able to rise up, to the way he did. All right, he was able to, go up to the heights that he has gone up in. All right, and to prove that, I'm gonna go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2. All right, let me see. All right, so the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 6, and it reads, "Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai killeth, and he maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave, and he bringeth up." All right, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai maketh poor and maketh rich, and he bringeth low and he lifts up. Meaning that all the the dynamics of power, okay, it is all according to the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, he controls who's on top. Okay, and he had these devils be on top. All right, he had these devils take us down. He had these devils accomplish everything that they did through their sword, right? All these militaries all over the world. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabrakatah. All right, all these militaries all over the world. That's what he has done. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, but it was through the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that he did that. Right before before I forget, saying that part. All right, because these devils, they think that, they gassed up by everything that they have accomplished so far. You know what I'm saying? And they think that they already won. They think that they could, accomplish everything that they do, but little do they know they're gonna get a rude wake up call. All right, and that wake up call is coming by way of Yahweh Shah with the thousands of heavens, coming down, and the elect, being raised up, man. The elect having the new bodies, and it being Jeremiah 16:16 on his ass. Okay, so continuing on, this is a key point. And it reads, "He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's, and he hath set the world upon them." So, hey, it ain't nothing that's outside the control of the living power. All right, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Nothing that's outside of his control. These heathens were ruling, and it was all under his control, man. It was all under his control. It was all under his will. All right. Hey, the water, bro. Likewise, you too, man. Stay strong. All right. It was all under His will, man. Okay. So as of right now, America is in charge. They ruling. You know what I'm saying? But this place is going to be brought down too, and it's going to happen through the will and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. I'm gonna read a book of Isaiah, chapter 13. So let me just straighten out these pages. All right. So the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 1, and it reads, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see." All right. Now going to the burden of Babylon. All right. It basically means the prophecy of Babylon. So basically, it means what's going to become of this place. All right. And it reads, "Lift you up a banner upon the high mountain, all right, and exalt the voice unto them, and shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles." All right. And that's what we're doing, lifting up a banner upon the high mountain. Okay. Because the mountain represents, a kingdom. It represents, what I'm saying? So this is the high mountain. We put this banner up. Basically, we come out here and declare, this truth, man. We declare who the real children of Israel are, right? We declare Yahweh Shai, right? We declare the elect coming back into the marriage, right? And guess what? We declare the downfall of this kingdom. That's what we're doing, man. Okay? And it reads, "Take the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles." Verse 3, "I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones from mine anger." The mighty ones is talking about the angels. All right. "Even them that rejoice in my highness." Verse 4, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together." And that's what's going on too. I don't know if brothers saw that clip. I wish I could pull it out, if I had another phone, but I don't know if brothers saw that clip, that video clip where, you have somebody that's basically saying like, yo, you got Russians, Iranians, and Chinese mobilizing in South America. You know what I'm saying? And that's that tumultuous noise. All these heathen nations, all these heathen armies gathering together for that war. Right? Read about, matter of fact, let's read that in the book of Joel, chapter 3. I don't see where we at in the time. We got 1 hour. So, all right. So give me a quick second. Oh, there it is. All right. So the book of Joel, chapter 3 and 9, and it reads, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, and wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near." All right. So that's Joel chapter 3 and 9. "Let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up." And that's these nations, mobilizing their troops, building up their troops as we're getting ready to read. All right. So, hold on. I ain't trying to have this happen like that. All right. So verse 10. "Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong." All right. And why, are the weak saying that they are strong? Because they have developed their military to where they believe that they stand a chance against Babylon. Okay. Because there was a time when Babylon was the main one, that was on top of all the other nations. Especially after they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they had that nuclear power. All right. These nations were okay. We don't want no smoke, right? But now these nations are developing their own nuclear capabilities. They have developed their own nuclear capabilities. They basically saying that we're strong. We got weapons that could reach you, and we got weapons of mass destruction that could reach these Americans now. And that's them saying that they are strong. All right, you got Russia with the hypersonic missile. All right, hypersonic intercontinental ballistic missile. That's them. They flexing on that. The Satan missile. That's them saying that they're strong. It's literally a manifestation of this precept. All right, because the Russians they used to be the Soviet Union. All right, and they collapsed and they fell. Okay, and they they basically their whole government it fell under economic collapse. They went through a terrible recession and whatnot, and then guess what? This dude Putin, he came in and he turned all that around. And in the midst of all that, he developed his swords. He developed his swords, and what I'm saying, when I say the sword, he developed their military and nuclear capabilities, man. All right, so that's why they say that they're strong. That's why the Russians can come and they basically go and taking over the Ukraine. All right, that's a display of them saying that they're strong. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, "Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley." Oh, Salakia, verse 11. I accidentally skipped the verse. It reads, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh Shem Yahushai," which that's in reference to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. From the top going on down. How Yahushua is going to come back with 1,000 of the heavens, and you're going to have the heathens. Basically a collective of their military. They first going to be going to war with each other. But when they see Yahushua come back, they're going to try and take out and fight against Yahushua. They're going to be so afraid, but yet they're going to fight. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know what they're fighting. But they know that. All they gotta know is that they gotta fight it. And they're gonna fail miserably, man. Okay, they're gonna fail miserably. All right. Continuing on, in the reads, "Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about." All right, and that's ultimately what's manifesting itself. Okay, so going back to Isaiah chapter 13, verse 4. All right, continuing on where it says, "A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh Shem Yahushai mustereth the host of the battle." All right, verse 5. "They come from a far country, from the end of the heaven, even Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land." All right, now that's talking about the ICBM thermonuclear missiles, man. All right, and that's and see, this is how it is, man. See, this is how much Esau has gassed himself up, with his achievements, that even his nukes is created by, ultimately, from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay, even his nukes. All right, and to get that, we're gonna go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16, and it reads, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." All right, that's talking about those missiles, man. All right, that's talking about them scientists that developed the missiles. The Oppenheimers and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically saying, he created them. To make that stuff. So Esau don't even have his own. You know what I'm saying? He don't even have his own, like. He can't take credit for something that Yahweh Shem Yahushua created. But that's what he wants to do. All right. So going back to the book of Isaiah chapter 13. Okay. Let me see how you. Salakia. Verse 6. All right, and it reads, "How ye, for the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is at hand, and it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt." Okay, because that's one of the biggest fears that the world has is being destroyed by the missiles, man. All right, they illustrate that in certain movies like the Terminator. How she clutching onto the fence and her whole body is literally burning away. That's how it's literally gonna be, man. Like, you're not just gonna vaporize instantly when a nuclear missile hits. No, man. It's gonna be a flash of light. It's gonna be a flash of light, and that flash of light emanates heat, and you're gonna be melting in that flash of light. All right, that blast gonna come. That's not gonna instantly vaporize you. Look at the mannequins. If they still, you know what I'm saying? If they melted and they still held their form, and they look completely burnt up after that blast, what does that tell you? All right, that you're not gonna vaporize. So continuing on, and it reads, "And they shall be afraid, pains and sorrow shall take hold of them, and they shall be in pain as a woman in travail that travaileth, and they shall be amazed one at another, and their faces shall be as flames," because Hey man, who knows how it goes down, man? Who knows? Maybe it happens, maybe it happens, out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe there's a siren or an alarm system that goes off, in the cities to where people's gonna know what time it is. People's gonna know what time it is. All right, and guess what? They're gonna be, that's when the scripture's gonna kick in. And having a 30 minute, you know what I'm saying? A 30 minute, a warning, a siren going off 30 minutes before, nuclear missile hits. It won't matter, man. All right, and the reason why is because when them missiles hit, they're gonna wipe out everything in its path. There's gonna be no place to hide. What are you gonna do in a burning radioactive land? You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do in the aftermath? Nothing, man. You know, all these people that got their bunkers, that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's Yahweh Shem Yahushai and the spirit that's gonna be on these weapons, man. As it reads, the faces shall burn as flames. Yahweh Shem Yahushai might have it to where they don't even get to reach their bunkers. For all them doomsday preppers, they don't even get to reach their bunkers before the missiles go off, man. You know. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, behold, the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. All right. For the stars of heaven, and the constellation thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. All right, because of the nuclear blast, you know what I'm saying? That cloud is going to cover up the sky, literally. All right, verse 11, and I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Okay, and this is always a reoccurring thing in the scriptures. All right, because who's the proud? All right, who's the proud? Esau, Edom. Okay, as is written in Obadiah, in the book of Obadiah, the pride in thine heart has deceived thee. All right, that pride, that mindset, to where they could surpass Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to where they could, accomplish their enterprise and some way, somehow beat Yahushai when he comes back. And hey, man, that has deceived him. He's gassed up in his own, in his own, you know what I'm saying, his own part, basically. You know. So on in the reads, and I will punish the world. Verse 12, and I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place. All right, now, going into verse 12, all right, hey, that's going to be the elect that's going to be made more precious than fine gold. Okay, because the elect is going to be, doing miracles. The elect is going to have spiritual power. You know what I'm saying? Hey, who knows how Yahweh Shem Yahushai might have it play out, but the elect is going to get power. They're going to be doing miracles. They're going to be, you know what I'm saying, doing their part. And guess what? They're going to be, and most importantly, they're going to be sustained in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. All right, that's why it's going to be 7 women to 1 man, because they're going to see that we're being stained, and they're going to want to be in the picture. And in that day, we're going to be very picky, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna take you in. All right. So continuing on, verse 13, and it reads, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh Shem Yahushai of hosts, in the day of his fierce anger. All right, and that's talking about, once again, the nuclear missiles. Okay, now it says it will shake the heaven, and the earth shall move out of its place, because guess what, man? Hey, with so many missiles hitting, man, that bomb, that the Russians detonated, the Tsar bomb. All right, that actually sent a shockwave 3 times around the world. So it's probably people from the other side of the world that actually felt it. Like, they felt the little quakes. So if that's what one bomb did, all right, how much more, whole warheads, full of dozens and dozens of bombs going off on this place. That's going to really cause the earth to shake to and fro. All right. All right, so continuing on in the reads. All right, and it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. and everyone that is found shall be thrust through, all right, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces for their eyes, like before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. All right, that's what's going to take place, man. All right, that's going to be the judgment of these heathens. Okay. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. All right, and that's what I was talking about before in Obadiah. How they that eat thy bread have prevailed against thee. Okay, because here it is. They took all these Western philosophies. They adopted a lot of things that a lot of the wine. For lack of a better term, that came out of Babylon. They adopted all that wine that philosophical wine that came out of Babylon, right? But only to undermine these devils, man. Only to undermine the USA, you know. So continuing on, in the reason which shall not regard gold, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold they shall not delight in it. That almost the point actually evaded me. What I'm saying, which is going to the point. It basically means the way that these heathens have prevailed. They position themselves in a situation where they're not going to be affected much by the sanctions that the U.S. puts on them. You know what I'm saying? They're not affected by the sanctions like that. Why? Because you got the BRIC nations, which is a coalition of an economic coalition made by Russia, Brazil, India, what I'm saying, the East Indians, Iran possibly, China definitely, this is basically the other side, of the spectrum. Because, you have NATO, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you got 20% left. All right, put the low charger on. You got NATO, right, the EU, and then guess what? You got Russia and their counterparts. So that's their counterparts. You know what I mean? And really, it's looking more like the EU depends more on Russia than Russia depends on the EU. Because here it is, you got the prices literally at $10. They running out of gasoline. Because they got the majority of their gasoline from Russia. So now Russia's like, okay, well, fuck you guys. We're gonna go to China. I'm saying, we're gonna go to China. We're gonna go to our counterparts, and they're gonna be buying up our gas. And that completely X's out. That completely made and not made, that completely nullified. All right, the EU's leverage over the Russians. They thought they had some type of leverage. They didn't have shit. And that's this precept coming to pass. They shall not regard gold or silver. What's that song? It's funny because the brother was playing that song. You know what I'm saying? That little assembly, of this Russian choir. They was talking about how they gonna destroy America. They was talking about how the Jakes is asleep. Because they don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? They talking about how with 3 rubles they could do anything. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man. Hey, they're not gonna regard the gold or silver, man. They in that spirit. All right. So verse 18, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, and their eyes shall not spare children. All right. So their bows also shall dash the young men into pieces. Now this is talking about the nuclear missiles. All right, how it's going to come down and tear literally everything. All right, not just the young men. All right, but the fruit of the womb. You know what I'm saying? Even the little babies, because the missile, hey man, that fire ain't gonna go over no little baby, man. That fire is gonna burn everything up, including the cars, the elements, the animals, the beasts. Everything's gonna be destroyed. All right, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be when Yahweh Shai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, and this is one of the key indicators that this is not talking about the ancient Babylon. All right, this is a key indicator that this is talking about another, kingdom that's going to come. All right, that's going to parabolically in the prophecies in the scriptures be called Babylon. All right, and it's fitting because the root word of Babylon is Babal, which means confusion, and ain't nothing but confusion in this land, man. There's nothing but confusion in this land. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but all these philosophies, all these wicked lifestyles, the alphabet community. You know what I'm saying? All this wickedness, man. It's nothing but confusion. Okay? So continuing on, and it reads, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate places, like in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and their time is near to come, and their days shall not be prolonged. All right, meaning there's no healing of this place, man. This place will not be healed. It will not be restored. All right, anybody that's trying to do that, hey, man, kick against the pricks, man. That's literally all they doing. It's being done in vain. All right, and then also too, I was gonna get another precept. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's basically what's gonna come upon Babylon. All right, but the elect is gonna be delivered out of that. All right, the elect is gonna be how do I put it to you? The elect is gonna be saved. You know, and that's what salvation really is, man. You know, see, people don't know salvation. You know, these common people, you know, the so-called Christian, all right, he don't know salvation, man. You know, what they do? They walk around talking about they're saved. You know, this and that, right? And guess what? When they talk about that, you ask them, what are you saved from? And usually the answer they'll give you is the hell favor. You know, and then you break that down. So once again, what are you saved from, right? They don't know anything. Why? Because the truth wasn't given unto them. You know, the real salvation is when you get delivered from Jacob's trouble, man. All the plagues that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is bringing upon the earth, which we could get. So like we're gonna get the book of Jeremiah chapter 30. Matter of fact, we go to Daniel chapter 12. All the plagues that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is bringing upon the earth, who's gonna be delivered from it? All right, leading up to the second death, which is the missiles hitting this place that we just read about, who's going to be delivered from it? All right, see the situation, you know, even though it's bleak, it's not so bleak because there is hope for the remnant of Israel. Okay, there's just hope. All right, so the book of Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, and it reads, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And who are those that are found written in the book? The elect. Okay, 12,000 out of each tribe. They're gonna be delivered out of this place. All right, they're gonna be delivered out of this place. When the missiles come in, they're gonna get beamed up. Okay, and then we're gonna bring that out in the book of we're gonna build it up. You know, we're gonna bring out the book of Job. Chapter 20 or 5 and 20. Let me see. Now this is Psalms. Salakia. 5:20. Yup. All right, so we're gonna bring it out in the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 19. All right, and it reads, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yet in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. All right, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. And thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh." All right, so guess what, man? Because we know, we have faith that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we're of the elect, we're gonna get beamed up out of here, okay, via the chariots. All right, the so-called UFOs. They're gonna deliver the elect out of it. All right, and we don't get the scriptures to prove that. Okay, but it says, you know, he shall deliver thee, you know, jumping up to verse 19, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. All right, and in 7 there shall no evil touch them. So what's the 7th trouble? What's the 7th trouble? The final trouble. The missiles coming down. Okay, that's the 7th trouble that is to trouble us, man. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. You know, because they're gonna be experiencing famines, plagues, right, pestilences, sword. All these average Jakes that's walking by, they literally just sheep for the slaughter, man, because they don't know what the fuck is going on. They don't know what's about to transpire. They don't know that Esau's about to come down a great wrath because you know that he asked for a short time. Okay, But the elect knows. The elect is watching. As Scripture says, dealing with the parable with the thief in the night. These people's going to be caught out here as a thief in the night because they're not looking forward to the day of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, they're looking forward to the next episode, the next. They're looking forward to the next a party, the next rave, whatever mirth. This land gives them. That's what they're looking forward to. They're looking forward to mammon, money, and stuff like that. Whatever enterprise they're trying to form, that's what they're looking forward to. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking forward to the day of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So in essence, all right, as a result, they're going to be destroyed. All right? They're going to be caught as a thief in the night. They're not looking at the prophecies. So guess what? The prophecies is going to creep up on them. All right. So let's see if that's on Brother Road. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. All right, and thou shalt be hid from the scourge and from the tongue, and neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. Okay, so that's going into how in famines we're going to be sustained. We're going to be fed. All right, what else does it say? All right, and in war from the power of the sword. Hey, man, brothers might be able to, hey, man, the Lord might make brothers bulletproof. The Lord might make it to where brothers don't get, caught out there in a full-on war zone or whatever. Might be delivered from the draft. Things like that, man. Hey, that draft is coming. All right. And a lot of these young men, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yo, this has hit me right now. It's crazy how, you have in social media, you have a whole movement, dealing with, men that, I don't know, they get heartbroken or some shit, so they go and they hit the gym and they get on their best shape. All that is playing into Esau's hand because he's going to draft them and send them to war, man. They won't need to be prepared, you know what I'm saying? So, they won't need that much preparations. They just going to take them. They're already fit. Okay, cool. Just run the course. Okay, you passed it. All right, cool. Here's the gun. Here's how to shoot it. Now go to fucking war, man. That's what they going to do. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. All these devices, all these agendas that's out in the world, it's not for your benefit. It's for your destruction. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, all right, and in war from the power of the sword, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. All right, and ultimately that's going into persecution. Okay, that's going into that persecution. We're going to be hid because it's going to be a time when Esau comes down to persecute us, man. Which, hey, that dude Andrew Tate, he might play a hand in that because he got a big following and he talking about a lot of things that we agree in. Hey, it might come out something crazy on him, and then they try to equate us with that. Because they already equating us with them fucking Islam people, man. They're already doing that. So who knows how Hashem Yahweh Shai is gonna have it play out? It could be some psyops, psychological operations, false flags. Put us in the spotlight in a very negative light. As it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 24. All right, we'll grab that right quick. All right, so the book of Matthew, chapter. Let me see where my phone at right now. At 13%. I'm at 28. I'll probably stop at 10 minutes. All right, so the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse. Let me see. All right, so book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 9, and it reads, and then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right, that's that tribulation. That's that persecution. All right, and guess what? The elect is going to be delivered from it all the same. Now, hey, here in certain cases, you may have men that may have to, die for Yahweh Shai's name, for his name's sake, to keep that testimony. And those are martyrs. And guess what? Those men are going to be glorified in the kingdom. That comes with a reward in itself. You're going to be honored in the kingdom if you do that, man. You imagine what type, because Yahweh Shai, he went on the cross. The servant is not greater than his master. You know what type of status you'd have if you had to die for this truth, and then you in the kingdom, and you know what I'm saying? You're going to be, and it's not about vainglory. You know, it's just righteousness. You know, you're gonna be you're gonna have that status. It's one of those men that kept it faithful unto the death. You put respect on his name. You know, as he put respect on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. All right. So let me see. Um, I did have another preset lined up, but you know what? I'm gonna go back to the book of Job, chapter 20. All right, verse. Oh, sorry, not Job chapter 20. Job chapter 5. Where it says, "At destruction and famine." Oh, sorry, verse 20. Let me see. Verse 21, finishing it up, and it reads, "Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh." All right. Now that destruction is talking about them, the thermonuclear war. You know, the missiles hitting this place. All right. And even then, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah is going to quicken us. He's going to put a spirit on us. But we know that this is our ticket out. Lord willing, we're of the elect. He's going to put that spirit on us where we know, all right, this is the end of the road. He's going to come. He's going to beam us out of here, man. All right. And that's what's written of in the book of Revelations chapter 11. Let me see. We at 10%. All right, so we're going to grab this, go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and wrap it up. All right, so the book of Revelations chapter 11, verse 11. All right, and I'm going to start, after the 3 days and a half, because basically what happened, is when we went into slavery, these 3 days, they represent hundreds of years. So 3 days represent 300 years. All right, and a half represents half of 100 years. Okay, so I'm going to read it, and it reads, Revelation chapter 11 and 11. After 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai entered into them. Okay, so after those 350 years or so, right, the spirit of life from who Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai entered into them. And that's talking about the One West School that was founded by Abba Bivens, who we believe is the reincarnation of Elijah. All right, don't fucking believe them other dudes talking about some, we don't know who they are, and we don't know who King Nashar, we don't think he's King David. Like, these are revelations came up on through faith, because brothers had dreams. All right, the brothers had dreams, and they came through that revelation, man. Which really we're not supposed to be, talking about endless genealogies. You know what I'm saying? That's basically the spirit that that through the war came in. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if they want to believe that that's King David, let it be, man. You don't gotta make that an issue. Hey, bro. Hey, you might have a group that thinks somebody else is King David. Okay, that's the attitude that the elders and apostles have. Especially when they was breaking it down. Hey, man, if you think that somebody else is King David, that's you, man. But we believe that this is King David, and I believe that too, man. All right, I believe King Mashah is King David. I believe, Abba Bivens is the prophet Elijah back in the reincarnation. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, and after 3 days and a half, all right, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them. Right? So that's the One West School, and that's basically the genesis of us coming back into our nationality. That's the beginning of us coming back into our nationality, us remembering ourselves in the land of our captivity. All right, and it reads, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, so they stood upon their feet, which is, to go out here to the highways and hedges, prophesy, do what we do, right? And great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, and that's talking about these elites, mainly these heathens. All right, great fear fell upon them because they're like, oh shit, our agendas are not working. All these agendas that we have set in place to keep the children of Israel living a life of wickedness is not working, because obviously they got the men waking up, and brothers is waking up all throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Brothers is waking up. It started in North America. It started in the East Coast. Brothers woke up in the West Coast. Brothers woke up in the Midwest, right, in the middle, of the country, right. Brothers waking up in Mexico. Brothers waking up in Central America, South America. All right, you got the Caribbean islands. Brothers waking up there. All right, and let's talk about Europe. Brothers waking up in Italy, the Israelite foreigners. You know what I'm saying? Brothers waking up in England. You know, you got camp in Poland, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right? Brothers is waking up everywhere, man, because the elect is being sealed. Okay, and that shows that Esau has no power over anything, man. He got no power. All right, he got no power over anything. He ain't governing nothing. Okay, he can't even govern his own fate. He's gonna go down, man. All right. So continuing on in the reads. All right, and they stood upon, verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them. All right, so this is talking about the elect. All right, that's who the two witnesses are: the elect of the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. You know, those that woke up after those 3 days and a half. So, I should have put that in the context as well. All right, so it reads, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to a great, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. Okay, and that's how the elect is going to be saved. All right, Lord, when we're of that number, that's how we're going to be saved, man. All right, the chariots is going to come. All right, and we're going to get beamed up. We might hear, come hither. You know what I'm saying? We might hear that. We might hear that in the Lashawan Kodash. You know, Kwam Yashualim, man. You know, and guess what? The elect is going to be raised up, man. All right, the elect is going to be beamed up. You know, which really the way it's going to happen is our bodies is going to stay here. All right, it's a strange work, you know, but our bodies is going to stay here, and our spirits is going to be transferred up into the chariots, where there are the new bodies. All right, and you could just picture that, man. You know, you could just picture our bodies, you know, in the chariots, you know, waiting for us to inhabit it. Lord willing, we're the elect, man. You know, Lord willing, we're of that number. You could just, hey, man, you just picture that. It's a bad, you know what I'm saying? It's one of them epic movies, man. You know, you have, you know, just picture, you know, just different bodies of the elect. You know, they probably, you know, in their beds or whatever, you know, whatever, however they're in. You know, and then the elect finally get, you know, beamed up, and they, you know, the spirits inhabit their true bodies. You know, hey, man, that's when Jeremiah 16:16 is going to come into play. You know, continuing on, and it reads, all right, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Okay, and that's what's going to happen too. All these scoffers out here, all these, you know, demonic ass jakes, these fucking these heathens, you know, which are against us, they're gonna be they're gonna witness it. All right, that's the spirit. Went right to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. I'm gonna check the. We're at 6%, so I'm gonna bring this out and I'm gonna close out. All right, so the book of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5, verse 1, and it reads: Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his slavery. All right, and that's what that's what's gonna manifest. You know, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. All right, and that could be, you know, written in that same hour. You know, in that same hour, you know, when the missiles is coming down, maybe there's a siren going off. You know, maybe it's announced. You know, oh, we got, you know, imminent, you know, missile is gonna hit us in 30 minutes. You know, and people are gonna be losing their shit. You know, and guess what? We're gonna be standing there in great boldness, like, yo, we told y'all this was gonna happen. You know, and guess what? At the same time, we're gonna be praying unto Yahweh Shem Yashai that we be delivered, man. Right? We're gonna be comforted. You know what I'm saying? In the same time, because this represents that same hour. You know, even though it's a terrible hour. You know, a lot of people won't die. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? The elect is gonna be delivered. You know, if we're of the elect, you know, being a hopeful elect, you know, Lord willing, the Lord, you know, quickens me in that day. We will have the spirit of, yes, man, we're finally over. We're finally out of our captivity, man. That we was meant to serve. You know what I'm saying? These missiles are gonna come down. All right, and if I'm of that number, you know, my spirit's gonna be delivered and transferred into the new bodies which are in the chariots. You know, and that's what's gonna happen. All right, no more Babylon, no more paying rent, no more paying taxes, no more being under these devils. All right, no more nothing, man. All right, all that's gonna be done away with, man. No more alphabet community being exalted. No more women being exalted over the man and usurping authority over the man. No more unruly people. All right, when I say unruly people, I'm referring to the men women and children that's in Israel. Okay, that's unruly. You know what I'm saying? No more wickedness, man. A new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness is made manifest. That's what we're gonna be thinking of when in that final hour, man. All right. So back to it, and it reads, all right, and when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. All right, so the strangeness of our salvation, yeah, it's gonna be strange, man. You know, the chariot's gonna come, you're gonna get beamed up, you know, something out of a sci-fi movie, but guess what? It's real, and really, that's where they get the sci-fi movies from the scriptures, man. All these superhero movies and things of that nature, they get it from the scriptures. Certain horror movies, they get it from the scriptures. All right, this devil is the ultimate biter, man. He's the ultimate style biter. Okay. Continuing on in the reads, that's the crazy thing. He bites and he takes things from the scriptures, and he doesn't give the credit to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and gives himself the credit like he's the Most High. This devil's about to get taken out the way, man. All right, he's about to get taken out the way. So continuing on in the reads, verse 3, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach. And we fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is amongst the saints? All right, and that's what they're saying. Okay, and then you got the rest of the chapter, which goes into, you know, basically it's like Proverbs chapter 1, but they acknowledging that they are those people that's written up in Proverbs chapter 1, you know, 20 on down, if I'm not mistaken, you know, dealing with the people that had the chance to listen but didn't listen, you know, and that's primarily going to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that's not going to get saved, you know, because here it is, they have the chance to use out here. You know, Lord was stretching out his hand, like, hey, come on, let's go. They fan the hand, they're like, nah, man, I'm trying to get this money, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to be a superstar, you know, I'm trying to follow my dreams, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. And when that dream turns into a nightmare, they're gonna be sitting there assed out. If the elect is getting beamed up, they're gonna be sitting there assed out. And then whatever, you know, moments that they have left, you know, as the siren is going off or whatever, they're gonna be sitting there and they're gonna be, you know, self-examining, like, damn, man, yeah, man, we should have, you know what I'm saying, we should have taken heed. You know, now we're over here, we're about to be destroyed. You know, Yahweh Shemel Shah might have it to where, you know, they, you know, they finally see it then. You know, he opens up their eyes and wakes them up then, and they just sit there like shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, that's gonna be, you know, how Esau's kingdom is gonna finish, man. All right. So, hey, with that, I'm gonna say, all right, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and rule well. All right, it's another camp. All right, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next.